Well, a local viewer just published his very first book, and it's the perfect teaching tool for parents.
Ashley Williams has more on the very special person who helped inspire the book. Ooh, good morning, Ash.
Loving the backdrop.
Hi, good morning. Oh, I'm having the best time chatting with Joe here, the author of the brand new published book, Awesome Alphabet Adventure. I love this concept. We're going to dive right in. Joe, good morning.
Good morning.
You are a wealth of knowledge. You are such a sweet spirit, such a sweet soul. Such a pleasure to meet you. This book, brand new, you wrote it 12 years ago and finally decided, I'm gonna publish this thing. But for people at home watching, let's talk about the backstory. It was inspired by your son.
So when my son was young, we discovered that he was hearing impaired, and teaching him the alphabet and phonetics and things like that, he didn't hear things the same way they were being said, so obviously he didn't repeat them back in the same manner. Given that challenge and the materials that were available, I wasn't really satisfied with what there was, so I decided to write my own series of tongue twisters and things to help him work with his enunciation and phonetics. Over time, I've always been into cartoons and drawing, so I figured I'd add some nice little silly cartoons into it, and eventually turned it into a book. And it was what was a really small project turned into a really, really large challenge. And yeah, many years later, now we finally, through the marvels of modern technology, have been able to go ahead and get our book published and out there to the public.
And we'll get to the illustrations here in a little bit, but I want to kind of get to the psychology part of it as well. It's interesting you chose this page to read out loud. Ironically, myself as a kid went to speech therapy because I could not pronounce my R's. So we have rockin' rabbits, running rowdy, raccoons rampant. Tell me why you chose to write the book this way.
So one of my main frustrations with alphabet books when I was researching them is that a lot of them say things like A is for apple. The problem with that sentence is there's many words within that sentence that do not begin with the letter A. So I decided to create tongue twisters where every word is actually a legit word that's in the English language. You can look them up in the dictionary. However, every word in the sentence begins with the letter that is the subject of that particular moment, as well as removing some of the smaller conjunctions, the things that can be very confusing, especially if you're working with students of ESL, English as a second language, or others who may be struggling or looking to improve their enunciation. Yeah. That's kind of the idea and the focus behind it.
Yeah, and I even say, even as a journalist, someone who is constantly speaking, having something like this every single morning to even just kind of get that out. I love this. Yes, for a children's book, but even just for an adult, my goodness, it's brilliant. Also, too, Joe likes to say this is kind of like Dr. Seuss meets Webster.
Well, yeah, because Dr. Seuss always had the really silly, the very silly aspect to it, so we kind of made these really silly. While they are technically complete sentences, they're not sentences you would ever say in real life. However, so that's kind of the Dr. Seuss side of it. The Webster's Dictionary part is that it is actually a useful educational tool. And as you mentioned, yes, while the book is designed for young children and first-time readers, it can actually be used by readers of all ages and anyone looking to improve their phonetics and enunciation.
You said these aren't generally sentences people would say, but I think John would actually say, pool party pandas plus pink pig pirates preparing pepperoni pizzas in a sentence at some point during the morning.
Here, let me try it.
With that said, we do have to wrap it up. But hey, I want to show off the illustrations behind. Oops, sorry, Steve. I want to show the illustrations off because you said for you it was important to kind of create these really cool characters in illustrations, but color was important for you.
Absolutely. We wanted to be bright and vibrant, especially if we're dealing with small children. Having nice, bright, vibrant colors helps them keep their attention span as well, not just through the text. And we did a general format where, they do generally tend to follow a format, and I think it was a little ambitious. I don't know that I will actually paint every individual illustration as I move forward in my next book, but it was a neat way to go about doing this one, and we ended up having these great big visual aids as well.
Congratulations. 12 years after he wrote it, finally decided to self-publish. How can people find your book?
Make it happen.
It's available on Amazon. Just go in the Amazon server, I suppose, and just look up my name, Joe Rigdon, or Awesome Alphabet Adventure. And it should be available on Amazon and Kindle, I believe.
Let's leave you with this one, Steve. Energetic, electric, eel, entertaining, every eager elephant.
Love it.
I love it.
Yes, there it is.
That's a great dance.
Awesome Alphabet Adventure. Right?
Nice.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
Very cool.
Thanks. Thanks, Ash. And love those illustrations, too.
I want to get that because
Stuff.
Yvonne struggles with, I mean, she's only 3, but she
Sure.
struggles with some pronunciation. And that would really help, I think.
Plus, it would be fun, you know, for her as she's learning.
Absolutely.
Stuff.